Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully you guys are doing well this evening as we're going to do a little bit of SAT prep. So if you are about to take the ACTs, the SATs, maybe even the PSATs, which is happening next month, this is going to be the life for you. Now, I'm not going to leave out all my GED, ASVAB, and even some of my current students. Maybe if you want, stick around, take a look at some of the things that you can do. So let's kind of use this session as a growth. Let's see what you can do. Let's take a kind of guesses of what you think the answers are, because you never know. You might actually get it right. And how good does it feel for you to take like a practice exam for something that you thought you never knew how it worked years ago? So as you guys are coming on in, we're going to come on tap, but I'm going to get started. So this is a free session. So don't she's going to leave in about an hour or a minute. No, I'm still going to be here. All right. So let's take a gander at the first one. All right. Of chipmunks in a state park on April 1st for each year from 1989 to 1999. So based on that line graph, in which year was the estimated number of chipmunks in the state park the greatest? Go ahead and put your answer. Is it A, is it B, C, or D? Because we got to save these chipmunks, guys. We got to save the chipmunks. I know, some of the things that they write in this whole thing, it's almost like skip this, always go down to the question, and then you just work it from there. All right. Marva Lee, how are you? Jeremy, he's saying the answer is B. Okay, Janie is saying 1994. That's what year I graduated. Purple Love is saying B as well. Okay, simple concept. We're looking at the graph. When's the highest point? Here's the highest point. Highest point is 150. But they're asking for in which year? Okay, so that means if this is my highest point, I'm coming down here. I got 1994. Answer is B. All right, test square, how are you? All right, number 2. So a fish swims a distance of 5,104 yards. How far did the fish swim in miles? And they give us the equivalent. 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. You thought it was a trick question? I know. Nope. Because it was too easy, right, Kay? Yeah. Well, you got to remember, with the SATs and ACTs, it's kind of like a progression, very similar to what the ASVAB does. It starts off slow and it has that progression. Okay. Hey, Maggie. Yes, I can, because I'm only going to be here for about enough. Okay. So we're saying B. Wes is saying B. Red Rose is saying C. Carlo is saying C. Someone said, good evening, ma'am. Hold on. Oh, that was Test Square. Good evening, Test Square. Okay. There we go, Wes. That's what we're doing. All right. So if we're saying that 1 mile, this is me being technical for people to see it. So if we're saying 1 mile is equivalent to 1,760 yards, and they want to know how far in miles this 5,104 is going to be, we can do a proportion. Now, those proportions are very popular for those that are taking those nursing programs, okay? When you're going from one system to another. So if you want, you can cross multiply. So that will give you your 1760x is going to equal my 5,104. Or you can just simply divide those two. because that's exactly what's going to happen. All right, and when you divide it, you're going to get 209. Okay, so since this is for the SATs, PSATs, the ACTs, you can use calculators, okay? Because remember, the digital SATs now have the Desmos calculator attached to it, okay? I know. So that's why they cut it down to, instead of having 2 sections of math, you just have one big section. All right, so you have one big section, and it's less time, less problems, less time. They're giving you a calculator, so there's going to be a lot more of basically going from one extreme to the next. All right, so which expression is equivalent to 12x to the third minus 5x to the third? Okay, red rose reminds me of the tea. Don't worry, okay? We're going to go through it step by step, all right? No worries. This is not Squid Games. We're not going to offer you if you get an answer wrong or a couple wrong, all right? So Kez is saying C. I don't know, saying B. Jess is saying C. DJ Nikki saying C. Karsha is saying C. Wow. Is this for GED? It's actually for SAT and for ACT prep, but there are some components in here that is also in the GED. So any of my lives, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is like cross curriculum, okay? When it's all algebra, it's algebra no matter what the label is. All right, chess show C. Who's before chess show? Okay, test squared says A. Alex is saying C. Is that Nija saying C? My apostrophe with a blank. And Shane C's, Victoria A, Janie C. Oh, I wish I can pronounce it. a biodome saying D. Okay, if I wrecked your name, please help me out. Ale, oh, I love that. Sierra Ale saying C. Candy saying C. All right, so let's take a look. So they both have the same. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in just a tad bit more. Okay, so they both have the same x to the third power. Since we're subtracting, these are like terms. So all you have to do is subtract the 12 minus the 5. So 12 minus the 5 will give me 7. So that's why B and D is out. So now, when you subtract, you don't do anything with the exponents when you're adding and subtracting. When you multiply and divide, that's when you're messing around with the exponents, okay? So this is answer C. Okay, number 4. I think I can fit it all in there. Okay, what is the solution to the given system of equation? Is it A, 15.3, B, 16.2, C, 17.1, D, 18.0? Okay. Good job on the last ones, guys. Okay, Sarah, we got you. Relax. Okay, Nacho Box saying A. TikTok is the best. Well, you know. Selena saying A. JV A. Caden. Hello, Caden. We have to solve for y and then substitute into the other equation. Okay, Michael A. Test square. What was the answer for the last one? It was C. 7x to the third power. So what we did was we subtract the 12 and the 5 to get my 7, but we didn't do anything with the exponents. Okay. All right, you just got here. Good job. All right. Okay, so Cooley, hi. It's saying A, Angel A, Cass A, Kathleen A, Nathy A, Mr. Passion. Oh, okay. Watch out there now. Gonna have to put a restraining order on you. Okay, you saying A. Oh, I wish I can read that. Saying A, Alexander A, Omar A. Okay. All right, one that just got here saying A. This is fun. Yes. All right. Really pissed? Hey, I'm glad. I feel the pain. A, but guessing. Okay. King is saying B. I'm here not wanting to study and do physics work. Okay. Oh, you're being a distraction. So I'm being a distraction, huh? Okay. So let's take a look. So we have x plus y equals 18, and they're giving me 5y equals x. So why don't we do this? Since this bottom equation is already telling me what x equals, why not take this 5y and substitute in for x in the top equation? So now we have 5y plus y equals 18. And 5y plus 1y gives me 6y equals 18. Okay, if you don't see a 1 in front of the y or a number, it's assumed to be a 1. So 5y plus 1y gives me 6y's. Divide both sides by 6. So now we got y is equal to 3. So since I know what y equals, immediately I'm going to my answer choices. Because remember, SAT, ACT, any kind of standardized test, they are not looking at, oh, let me see your process. Because we want to make sure that you're getting every step of the way done. They don't care. Did you pick A, B, C, or D? And sometimes, depending on the test, it will be an E option. Okay? So since I know that y is 3, I'm going right to my y's. Because remember, order pairs is just like the alphabet. You got x, then y. So the only one that has 3 as my y, A is my answer. But how do you know, Miss Audrey, that it is your answer? Well, then you can take the second equation. You see that 5y equals x? You can take this 3, plug it in for y. 5y means 5 times y, which is 3. And that gives us our 15. And that will give you your order pair. But guess what? You don't get extra points when you do this. They just want their answer. Okay? Thanks. All right. All right. Awesome. Now, if you are a classroom student, your teacher wants to see your work. I'm really focusing on the SATs, on these standardized assessments, especially for those that haven't been in classroom since they were a fetus. So now they're trying to get either maybe some kind of credits so they can keep their job, because some of the jobs nowadays are asking for at least associate's degrees or some college credit classes. All right, fine. Play their game. Okay? Go after it. Get the accreditation. Get your job. Keep it moving. All right? So that's why I'm here. I'm here to help. So, number 5, the point 8-2 on the x-plane is a solution to which of the following systems of inequalities? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay. All right, future doctor, I see your D. You don't have to put it down too many times. I'm not that blind. I have glasses, but I'm not that blind. All right, Strength of Life is saying D, Jackson saying A. No problem. Because the only thing is, if you keep doing it that many times, trust me, TikTok will give me a violation in a heartbeat. Okay? We all know why, but I'm not going to emphasize that. All right, Mike A, Jesus A. Hey, Robert A. Jerice A. Michael A. My space, my blank space B. Gino, how are you? Pi A, Ricky A. Thanks for the follow, King. Test Square has a B, my blank space. My quotes, I guess I can say, A. Yep, I will explain it. Okay, Michelle with the A. You meant to say A. Okay. It's going all right. All right, thanks for the follow, Dexter. All right, strength of life, I got your A. All right, so let's take a look. So we're looking to see what's going to make these systems of inequalities true statements. So again, the 8, that's my X. The 2, that's my Y. So if I plug the 8 in for the X, is 8 greater than 0? Yes, that's a true statement. Here I got my 2 for my Y. Is 2 greater than 0? Yes, that's my true statement. Boom, that's your answer. Like, well, what happens if you have 2? Unless it's a multiple choice, unless they say select all, which for these exams, they hardly ever do that. If anything, they may have an option that says, what would it say? Like all, all or equal or something like that. They'll say something that will refer to all of the options. But for you to pick out individually, if it works for both of the inequalities, that's your answer. Bubble it, click it, move on. Okay? If you tried it with B, all right, 8 is greater than 0. That's true. But when I plug the 2 in for the Y, 2 is not less than 0. Okay? So it has to work for both inequalities in order for it to be the true answer. All right? Okay? Go ahead. Ask your questions. Hello, Sharon. How do you understand the is greater than 0? Well, if you think about the number line, here's my 0. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8's here, and 2 is here. Okay, so 8 is greater because it's going towards positive infinity. It's furthest away from 0. And 2 is greater because it's also going into the positive direction. Okay. Why do I say systems of equation? A system is 2 or more, either equations or inequalities. It's 2 or more at the same time. All right. Number 6. I think I can get everything in there. Okay, what is one possible solution to the given equation? Okay, you're confused about the X and Y? Okay, you're going to have to dig into that a little bit later. Okay, X and Y is the X and Y axes. Bob Betty, that's right. Bob Betty B. Try to say that 5 times fast. Yep, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so a system is always 2 or more equations or inequalities. So it has to satisfy both of them. Okay. All right, so I'm seeing some 15s. Young with a 15, Yasmin with a 15, Shay with a 15, Robert, you got a 15 and a negative 5. Okay. So we got negative 5, best squared, got 15, strength of life, x plus 5. We got 5 times 10. Armando, 15 minus 5. Brendan, so sorry. 15 and negative 5. Sticky beans, negative 5. Hopeful, okay. Hopeful is with the 15 and negative 5. Rocco, 5, positive 15. Okay, beach baby. Okay. SP body is just 15. Okay, so let's take a look at it. At least we got this. We got positives and positives. It says one possible solution. Yes. Thank you. All right. So in order for us to solve this, okay, we have an absolute value. We know the absolute value is basically your distance away from 0. So for 0, it's going into the positive direction or to the negative direction. So we need to represent both. Positive is you write down exactly what you see without the absolute value. The other equation, you write what you see without the absolute value, but it's going to be equal to the negative value. Okay? But if your original equation starts off with a negative, before you do the separation, it is a no solution. Because you can't get a negative number out of an absolute value. So let me show you. So say I'm here. This is my house at 0. And I want to go from 4. I got one friend house at this 4. And I got another friend's house at this 4. So from my house to this friend's house is 4 units. Right? But from my house to this friend's house, it's also 4 units. But I'm just going in the opposite direction. But it's still 4 steps that I have to take to get to my friend's house, or 4 blocks, let's say that. All right? So that's why your absolute values are always positive. So if I solve this, I'm going to add 5 on both sides. And when I solve over here, again, I'm going to add 5 on both sides. Okay. So we all know what's possible, so we just want to know what is one possible solution. So you could pick, they said one possible solution. If I plugged in -5 in for x, that'll give me a -10, and the absolute value of -10 is 10, so that's possible. Then you have 15. If I plug 15 in, I got 15 minus 5, that gives me 10. The absolute value of 10 is 10. So in a test situation like this, you pick one of the other. It didn't say positive, it just said one possible solution. So for those that are picking 15s, yay. For those that are picking -5s, yay. You picked one possible solution. Okay? All right. Yeah, so it's the distance away from 0, not so much the direction. Good. All right, number 7. The function gives the total number of people on a company retreat with X managers. What is the total number of people on the company retreat with 7 managers? So this is not multiple choice, but just put in your answer. Well, thank you for the roses, 4:30. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, Mela, saying 50. Randy, saying 50. Hey, Banks, how are you? Everybody coming out of the woodwork. Okay, Dweller saying 50. All right, well, thank you. Miss Nikki, not sure? Not a problem, Miss Nikki. 1, thank you so much for your honesty. Okay, I got you. Okay, real deal. How are you? Starting to become popular in Puerto Rico with these SATs. Share it live. Okay, DeMichael saying 50. Okay, Michelle saying 50. Sun laughing 59. Okay, oh, switched it over to 50. All right, yum. How y'all getting all that? Okay, I'm going to show you in a few. Any other answers? Any other answers? All right. Okay. So, thank you, Pi. Thank you for the honesty. Connor saying 67. 15 because we can't have a negative answer. What are we doing? Explain the answer. Okay. Ew. Can you say please to Michael? It's always the Michaels. Okay, looked away and now you're lost. Okay. All right. So now, this is the situation. So we're on some kind of retreat. No one cares. Here's the function right here. They're saying this company retreat has X amount of managers. Now they want to know how many people are going to be there with 7 managers. Notice the X and the 7 are in the same spot when they're talking about the managers. So that means I'm trying to figure out how many people we got with 7 managers. Okay, so you're just substituting the 7 in for the X. So now 7x is the same as saying 7 times 7. Well, 7 times 7, that gives me 49. Bring down your plus 1. Okay, so 49 plus 1, not to insult your intelligence, is 50. Okay, so your answer is going to be 50. Okay, makes sense now? Okay. All right, good. All right. So that's what we're looking at. How many managers? You just plug it in for the X, and then you just go ahead and solve. Even if you don't get this part, as long as you substitute the 7 for the X and you solve this expression, this expression right here, that's good enough. All right, so there's roughly 320 of us here. Okay, before we get that. All right, yes, do not second guess yourself whatsoever. Okay, sometimes, majority of the times, your first answer is your best answer. Unless you're thinking something crazy, like 5,624. What are you thinking? Bring it back. It's only 7 managers. Okay, so can we do a mad tab to 10K? Is that possible? I think it is, with 336 of us, 39, before I get to the next one. Okay, good. Okay, so Pi Lopez, just take your time. I think majority of the time is like what kills it is that we like to rush through these problems. Yes, the assessment is timed. GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, all of those, they are timed. But you got like 1 minute and 12 seconds for, let's say, ASVAB. Okay, GED, no, I switched it around. I keep doing that. GED, you get, say, 1 minute and 12 seconds per question. For the ASVAB is 1 minute and 7. You notice some of the other problems that we just did, you guys got through it really quick. You're going to gain extra time from those problems that you can spend time with the later ones, because the later ones are going to be harder. Okay? That X was 7 because they talked about set X managers. Then they wanted to know what happened with 7 managers. So X and 7 is exactly the same. Okay. That I do not know off the top of my head, Tone. Okay, do I do graphing lessons too? Sometimes I do. Yep, the 7 is the managers. All right. Well, keep tapping. Because you guys got to think. Think about how you got here. You think about how I came on your FYP. It's because of people like you that came in, was like, oh, this is not too bad. This is cool. Maybe tapped a couple of times. And next thing you know, you probably saw the same video that they kind of liked. And that's how I got into your FYP. So if you think that you really like these, all I'm asking is just a little bit of tip of the tap. Okay? Because even if we can get it to 6, I'll get started again. Okay? And it's true. Okay? This is true. All right. There you go. Yes. Thank you, Kaden. Yes. Because we have to get the foundational piece. I don't care what test you're thinking about taking, if you're currently in class, whatever your situation is. Everyone needs to know their multiplication table. Everyone needs to know their multiplication table. Okay? We definitely got to get those foundations. All right, Nikki baby. You need to get some confidence, my girl. Come on. We're almost there. We're almost there, guys. Almost there. We can do this. Because this is going to be my last time begging. I may suggest it, but this is my last time begging. I just want to at least get 10 so we can get people on their FYP and to help them out just as much as I'm helping you out. Okay? Now, while you guys are tapping, if anything, if you're thinking about taking a course or you're currently taking a course and you're feeling a little stuck, I also do private sessions. I also do videos. So I also have courses. So if you ever need any assistance with that, I am available for that. Okay? All right. And if you're watching this right now and you're just like, I wish I can stay, if you go here and you go here, go ahead and do me a favor and hit these 5 things. All right. All of my lives are recorded. Okay. So there's a playlist that says TikTok Lives. Okay. So just in case you need that, go ahead and take a screenshot of that. I'm going to take it down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's get with the next question. All right, so we have an equation, okay? So it's telling us, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so we have an equation. So which table gives 3 values of x and their corresponding values of h of x for the given function of h? All right, ready? H of x is the same as saying y's. It's only when we start talking about functions and we want to identify which function they're talking about, that's when they start putting those h of x or f of x or g of x, okay? So it's just another way of just saying your y values. So is it A, B, C, or D? Hey, Janice. I do. There's some videos about percentages in there. Okay, so I'm seeing B for my autistic. I'm seeing B for autistic again. Miss Nikki saying B. Carissa saying B. My blank, period, saying B. DeMichael saying B. Cherry Blossom saying B. Yep, I got you, Carissa. Got you. I want to see if I skipped anybody. Yep. Awesome. Easy problems. That's fine. Okay. Mr. Z saying B. Luxury saying C. Okay. The Enyum saying A. Gonna have to work on that one. All right, so let's take a look. So my x values, notice the x values for all of them are exactly the same. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is me not even doing anything. All of them have the same x values. Their y values, there's a little similarity with B and C, except for with 3. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to plug a 3 in for my x. So if I plug a 3 in, it's going to be 3 squared minus 3. Now, 3 squared, that's going to give me 9. 9 minus 3, that gives me an answer of 3. So this is saying when my input, when I plug in 3 for the x values, I should get a 3 coming out. Okay? Not 3. What am I doing? Woo, I'm doing division. You can tell I'm sleepy. Okay, we're doing a 6 coming out. Woo. 9 minus 3. It was just like slight flashes. I'm like, oh, well, there's a lot of flashes. 9 minus 3 will give me 6. So that means when I plug the 3 in, these gave me a 3. These are out the window. So now it's between A and B. So now I can use another number. I can use 1. If I plug 1 in, that's 1 squared. So 1 squared will give me 1. Minus 3 will give me a negative 2. So the 1 that gives me a 1 and my output is a negative 2, or output's a negative 2, my answer is going to be B. Yeah. So when I plug who asked for that? Beach Baby. So when I plug 3 in for x, so x is being squared. So 3 squared, that's 9. That's not 3 times 2. 3 squared is 3 times 3. That's what 9 is. And 9 minus 3, that will give me my 6, not the 3 that I was thinking of. Okay. I do not do statistics. Nope. Sorry. Yep. Michael. Okay, true and if, good. With the B, yes. Do it. Okay. All right, so smart, cool. 3 times 3, yes. Yep, 3 times 3. Same as 3 squared. Okay. Okay, number 9. So the function f is defined by f of x equals 270 times 1/10 raised to the x. Okay, what is the value of f of 0? And they want to know what f of 0 is. Okay. Okay. So we got answer D, answer D. Okay, answer D. We got D, 270, D. We got A, we got 27, we got 0. Anything raised to 0 is 1. Okay. Beach Baby saying 0. Okay, y'all with 27, new guy 27, test square D, could have said D. Real deal is saying A. Okay, Esteen, ooh. Sorry, Einstein saying D, Ricky saying C. Okay. A, B, and C is none of those. Michael. Ash with the D. Okay. Oh, Miss Kickbop, thank you for the gift. All right, so let's see. All right, so Natural Rebel was saying C, Janie D, Toby D, Dre's D. Oh, stay hidden D. All that. Saying 2 squared. All right, so let's take a look at this. So we know, and a lot of us have mentioned, that anything raised to 0 power is 1. But here's my question to you. What is actually being raised to the 0 power? Okay. What's being raised to the 0 power? Is it the whole thing? Is it the 270? Or is it the 0.1? Okay, Ash is telling me the 0.1. Ricky, the 0.1. Okay, Natural Rebel saying it's A. Now, if just the 0.1, there's no other parentheses that's going on around this. So only this part right here is being raised to the that's going on around this. So only this part right here is being raised to the 0 power. Sorry. It's like everybody wants to call you when you're busy. They know I'm tutoring or I'm on this live. I have no idea. All right. Are we back? Okay. Am I still frozen? DeMarcus without a chance. DeMichael's like, the answer's D. Yes, we know the answer's D. So let me go through it again. Only the point 10, the 10th is actually being raised to 0 power. Anything raised to 0 power is 1, not 0. Okay, so now we have our 270 being multiplied by 1, which gives me that 270. So that's why the answer is D. Okay. All right. Now, probably like, oh God, there's a whole novel. Yes. That's the one thing you will definitely learn about these type of tests. It is always, and I do mean always, a reading test. Another way to get people out. Sorry. All right, this might be a little bit too large. There we go. All right. So instead of reading this whole entire thing, first thing I would go to is where the question is. Boom. Based on this estimate, okay, there must be an estimate, and the margin of error, which of the following is the most appropriate conclusion about the proportion of the population that has the characteristics? Okay. Now I'm going to see. They're talking about certain characteristics. A random sample was selected from the population. Based on the sample, it is estimated that the proportion of the population that has the characteristic of 4900ths with an associated margin of error at 400ths. Okay, so margin of error. Do you guys know what margin of error means? Because that is going to be the key for this question. Okay, so Justin C says it has to be between. Okay, the cause that actually had to read it. Not so much percent. Okay, so the margin of error is basically you're looking at, if I may say, if you think of it almost like means, like standard deviation, because I think some of you guys asked me statistics, so it's going to be like your plus or your minus of that 0.49. So say if I have up here 0.49, and if I go plus 0.04, and then I have 0.49, and I go minus 0.04. Okay, so the margin of error. So first you got to look at what's going on with that population, that sample size, And margin of error, that means you're going to be adding and subtracting that sample. Okay. You can. So when you do this, if I do the subtraction, this will give me a 5, and that'll give me my 4. So 0.45. But over here, we're going to have our 9 plus 4, 13 carried a 1. That gives us 5. So we're saying it's going to be between 0.45 and 0.53. So it's not going to be less than. It's going to be in between. So this one says less than, so you're only going in one direction. Boom, that's gone. We're saying it's exactly. No, if there's a margin of error, it's not going to be exactly. Boom, gone. It's possible that the proportion is greater than. They're just talking about one parts of it. So the one that's saying between, that might be your key. But the reason why I showed you this part is what happens if it's going to be between, but they give you two different numbers. So you know what to look for when you're adding and when you're subtracting your margin of error. Okay, so it is going to be A. Okay, it is going to be A. Okay, a little intensive, I know. But see, that's what happens with the SAT. Like, they're taking it all the way up to like Algebra 2. Okay, so if you haven't taken Algebra 2 or maybe even some parts of statistics, yeah, you're going to have some problems, right? So that's why I always don't like when they do the PSATs at the younger, but now they've changed that. So I can get over myself on that one. Between two numbers, yes. It does. All right, number 11. So a moving truck can tow a trailer if the combined weight of the trailer and the boxes it contains is no more than 4,600 pounds. What is the maximum number of boxes this truck can tow in a trailer with a weight of 500 pounds if each box weighs 120 pounds? Is it A, 34, B, 35, C, 36 or 38, or D, 39? So Beach Baby, when you do the margin of error, you always want to add and subtract that margin of error of your sample size. So it's always going to be something that's between. Okay. All right, Jenny. See, I forgot to do it yesterday, Jenny. Jenny's saying 34. Hello, Big Al. Yep. So SATs make you think outside of the box. ACT is very similar to what you're learning or how you're learning in class. Okay. Mr. Easy is saying A. Kaden saying 4,100 divided by 120. Okay, Latoya is saying 34, which is A. Michael's saying A. Josh is saying A. Justin's saying 34, which is A. Okay, Joanne's saying A. Journey's saying C. User 2941 saying A. James is saying C. driving and listening. Okay, Big Al, gotcha. All right, so let's think. Okay, first of all, the weight of the trailer and the boxes has to be no more than 4,600 pounds. Okay, so we got our 4,600 pounds. And if it's no more than that, that means we're doing less than or equal to. It can't be more than 4,600, but it can equal 4,600. The max, so they want to know the maximum number of boxes. So that's my unknown. So my X is going to be my boxes. Okay, so if my X is going to be my boxes. But we definitely know the weight of the trailer. So the maximum number of boxes this truck can tow in a trailer with a weight of 500 pounds. So we got 500 pounds, that's the trailer. And we're saying that each box weighs 120 pounds. So we got 120x plus that trailer's weight of 500 will give me less than or equal to 4,600. So if we take away that 500 from that total amount that we can't get, that's where I think it was Justin was getting the 4,100 from. Then from here, we're going to divide both sides by 120. So since we're dividing by a positive 120, my inequality sign does not change. So now, all I have to do is take my 4,100 divided by 120. That gives me like 34 point something. I think the sixes were repeating, if I'm not mistaken. But we can't worry about this 0.6 because that'll put us over. Okay, so it's going to give us exactly the 34. So round down. Yep, there you go. Yep. Okay, so 35 will be too much. 35 will put us over this 4,600. We can't go over that. That's the max that we can go. So 34, you want to round down. Plus, we can't really round up to 35 because it's 0.1. So you kind of want to round down. Well, you can do mental math. You can know that, okay, if I got 4,600 and I subtract the weight of the trailer, which was 500, that will give me 4,100. And if I know that the weight of each of the boxes is 120, I'm just going to divide by 120. So if you want to do it mentally, you can do it, but it's the same process. Okay? Unless you want to go to your answer choices and say, all right, 34 times 120 plus 500, is that going to get me close to 4,600? Or if I do 35 times 120 plus 500, is that going to get me close or over to 4,600? Well, it's going to get me over. So boom, the one that got me under is going to be here because the rest of these numbers are larger. It doesn't make sense for you to pick any of these. So you got your A. Okay. All right. Number 12. Okay. What is the positive solution to the given equation? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, Sugar Plum is saying B. Everybody else is like, wait. Okay. Michael saying B. Okay, my alien is saying C. Do you square root the negative? No. You do not. Carpe diem, you do not do the square root first. Oh, okay. Okay, alien switching from C to B. Okay. Is that Sandra saying C? You had to reread it? Okay. Mello saying B. Ezekiel saying B. 7th and 8th grade math. I do, as doggy. Just go ahead and message me. You can hit me on the DM, or you can tap that Service Plus at the bottom of your screen and you can just send me a direct email. Yep, you can factor. Okay, Angela, appreciate that. Hey, Laura, how are you? Hooray! Welcome back. Same B. Okay. Dello, Mello, switching up on me. You're like, it could be 9/4 or -4. Well, which one? Make a decision. Okay, Beach Baby, thank you for your honesty. Not sure. You can do the quadratic formula. It's possible. Okay. So B, because it's looking for a positive solution. Well, this is for the SAT, ACT. So it goes all the way up to Algebra 2. Okay, so Janie, you think it's B? Doing your head in? Okay, you choose B because you divide it by 4. Okay. User saying 4. All right. Estafar saying D. Okay, B because of substitution. Okay. Still with B, not turning back. All right. George C because it's always C. Nah, they changed it up, Georgie. They changed that up because so many people were picking C's, so they changed that up. All right. So we can do this one of two ways. We could, since it has a high degree of 2, that means factoring is involved in here. So we can either factor it using what's called the AC method, or we can factor using the quadratic formula. Or if you're just like, I don't know what to do, you can substitute your answers in for X to see what will make it equal a negative 36. So if you plugged in, let's say 4, because some people mentioned 4. I'm going to slide this up here. So if you plug in a 4 for the x, that means you have negative 4 times 4 squared minus 7 times 4. And you want to know, will it equal negative 36? Okay, so if you do that, you got your 4 squared, which gives you 16, so negative 4 times 16. And then minus 7 times 4 gives me 28. And then this gives you negative 64. Now, negative 64 minus 28, well, if I combine those two, that's going to be more than a negative 36. Because remember, when they're the same sign, you're just adding them together. So I already know that this is not going to happen, as well as the whole number of 7 is not going to happen, because all I'm doing is making it bigger. Okay, I'm making that negative bigger. So it can't be my whole numbers. So it has to be one of the two. So if you want, you can plug in. Let me use a different color. So if we had negative 4, let's use B. You have your 9/4 squared minus 7 times 9/4. And we want to know if that's going to equal negative 36. So do not cross these out yet, because remember, exponents takes precedence over multiplication. So that means you have negative 4 times 81, because it's not 9 times 2, it's 9 times 9. It's 9 squared. And we're going to square the 4 as well. That gives me 16. Okay? And let me bring this stuff down for a sec, because we're going to do something with that. Okay? Now, right here, the negative 4 and the 16, they can be simplified. This will be a 4. This will be a negative 1. So that means you have negative 81 over 4. Now, we can multiply these guys together. Multiply the 7 and the 9. So I'm going to keep that negative. So 7 times 9, that gives me a negative 63 over 4. We have a common denominator. Okay? So when we have a common denominator, excuse me. So when we have a common denominator, we're basically going to add them together. I know I did this a different way, but we're going to do this. So 1 and 3, that gives me 4. Okay, 8 and 6, that's 12, 13, 14, that's 44. That's a negative 44 divided by 4. We want to know if this side is going to give me a negative 36. So how many groups of 4 can go into 14? That is 3. Bring down the negative, that'll be a 3. 14 minus 12 will give me 2. Bring down the 4, that makes it a 24. So how many groups of 4 can go into 24? That'll be 6. So since we have the same answer on both sides, B is my answer. And of course, it's a lot quicker when you have a calculator. But I just wanted to show you. Okay. Yep. Okay. So when you reduce 4 and 16, knowing your 4 times table, They both have 4s in common. So 16 divided by 4 gives me 4. 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. It's a negative 1. Negative 1 times anything is going to be negative that number. So that's where the negative 81 came from. So then here, I multiply the whole number with the numerator. See, this is not a mixed number. We're multiplying 7 times 9/4. So it's 7 times 9. That's where the 63 comes from, and the 4 is your denominator, because 1 divided by 4, or 1 times 4 is 4. Okay. Because there's no x. We substitute the 9/4 for the x. Okay. Because 4 is a whole number and 16 is a denominator. You can't multiply. You're not cross-multiplying. Okay, so if you guys need to review multiplying whole numbers with fractions, definitely need to get here, because that's going to be crucial. Okay, come here and come here. Okay, and then check out my multiplying fractions, because I also put multiplying whole numbers with fractions as well. Okay. All right. So if I wanted to do that as factoring, this is what's going to happen. All of this is going over to one side because I want to have a positive leading coefficient. So if I add the 4x squared, add the 7x, okay, to both sides, I'm going to get 0 equals 4x squared plus 7x minus 36. So now, if I want to factor this, I need to know what my a is. You can get that. My b and my c. And if you want, you can do the quadratic formula. I like to do the AC method. And the AC method is this. I simply multiply my a and my c. So I multiply 4 times negative 36. Wow. Well, that went off the table. So this will be negative 144. And then down here, I rewrite my b, which is 7. So I need to think what two numbers multiplied together would give me a negative 144 and add together to give me 7. Well, that will be 16 and negative 9. And how did I get 16 and negative 9? I know my multiplication. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It is crucial, because 16 times negative 9 gives me negative 144, and 16 plus negative 9 gives me 7. So from here, I take my leading coefficient and the variable, and I write it 2 times. I create 2 ratios. So my numerator is the 4x. My denominator is the 16s. Then I see what I can reduce. 4 16ths can be reduced by 1/4. Then I have my parentheses. This is 1x plus 4. And this is 4x minus 9. And it equals 0. So they want the positive solution. So since they want the positive solution, it doesn't make sense to have this equal 0, because that's going to give me a negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 gives me 0. So I don't do that side. I focus on this side. So this gives me 4x minus 9 equals 0. That means 4x is equal to 9. Divide both sides by 4. X equals 9/4. I know. That's why this is the SATs. Okay. All right. Now, number 13. So we're going to finish off this page and then we are done. Okay. So the table summarizes the distribution of color and shape of 100 tiles of equal area. If one of these tiles is selected at random, what is the probability of selecting a red tile? So you can express it as a decimal, a fraction, but not as a percent. Why would you even write that? That's weird. So what's the answer, Jake? What do we got? Am I related to Elon Musk? No. Okay, Sugar Plum's saying 1/3. Jake is saying 1/3. Justin said 1/3. Okay. Alright, same here. Okay. You're saying 3/10. Let's say 1/3. Okay, P-wise, no clue. Thank you for your honesty. I got Golo with 3/10. Because 3 colors and it's 2 shapes. DeMichael saying 1/3. Okay, lost again. Okay, gotcha. Alright, so let's take a look. So, what is the probability? Probability, remember, is your part, what you're looking for, over the whole thing. So, they're saying for you to select a red tile. So, how many red tiles are there? There's 30. How many total tiles are there? There's 100. And they even said right here. So it's 30 out of 100. When I simplify, here I go. Instead of doing 30 and 100, I can simplify it to 3/10. It's not 1/3. There you go. There you go. So nice, Lola. Good, Kaya. Okay, so it's going to be 3/10. All right, so we're not looking at blues, we're not looking at yellows, we're just looking at the total and how many reds. That's it. All right. All right, last one. We're not going to continue today. We're going to save that till next time. So again, they give us a function. F of x is equal to 2x plus 3. So for the given function, okay, what is the slope? So the given function of y equals f of x in an xy plane is parallel to line J. What is the slope of line J? I solved it, Michael. We're not all perfect. It's fine. It's going to be all right. Okay. Kai saying 2. Justin 2. Sugar Plum 2/3. Lola's 2. Lola Lizzie. Okay, we're thinking way too hard on this, people. Okay, for your eyes only, 2/1. Addicted to success, welcome. Hey. Okay, All right. So they're giving us the function. F of x is the same as saying y. If I may rewrite this, it's going to be y equals mx plus b. Okay, this is in slope-intercept form. So they're saying that the slope of line J is parallel to this. What do we know about parallel lines? They don't intersect, and they have the same slope. So the slope of line J is just 2. Yep, that's all it is. Okay. So parallel lines, they don't intersect. They always go in the same direction. So if they go in the same direction, they may have different y-intercepts, but they have the same slope. So all you need to do was figure out what the slope is for the equation, and you would have gotten your answer. All right. Yep, they never intersect. And they all have the same slope. Perpendicular lines, their slopes are opposite reciprocals. Yep, so you didn't have to do all that rise over run. You just had to identify the slope in the equation. That's it. All right. All right, as promised, that is it for me. Okay, so on Wednesday evenings, 6:30, supposedly to 7:30, because I have another client coming up, we're going to be doing some SAT prep until the end of October. Okay, so we can get you started. Again, if you are trying to get your SATs and maybe even raise your scores up a little bit, I got my one-to-one tutoring. And if you really want to get started or get up on your scoring, maybe even your foundations of algebra, trying to get those positive and negative numbers, those X and Y's, stop fighting the feeling. Okay, if you want to join my course. My course has 107 videos on there, practice problems and quizzes. Okay, now the best time to get it is now, because the rating is going to go back up. Right now it's at 147. Okay, you have a whole access to it for a whole entire year. Okay, and then after October 1st, the price goes up to 197. Okay, so if you want to get it quick. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Not a problem for the help. All right. If you want to help a tutor out, if you feel so inclined to give a little bit of support, I will take that as well. But if you're just like, I wish I could, next time, Audrey, not a problem. Okay? Because we all know that the money transfers for TikTok is not helping when it comes down to mortgage and when it comes to all these other things. All right? So let me know if you guys need any assistance, if you need tutoring for your children or need tutoring for yourself. You're about to take the ASVAB, you're about to take the TEAS test, you're about to take any of those assessments, just let me know. We'll go over some things before you take your test, and then we'll take it from there. All right, everyone. Nope, you didn't miss my birthday. My birthday is this Saturday. So on Friday, I'm actually going to be doing a regular live, but it'll just be a little special. Okay? Yep. So if you want, make sure you guys come back on Friday. If you want to bless me then, I will greatly appreciate that. You know, you guys complain about my nails? Well, then help me get my nails done. All right, so I'm going to have to end this because I have to go to another class. So I will see you guys is on the way. Yay. So I will see you guys tomorrow at, what's tomorrow? Thursday, 6:30, same time. But we're going to be doing some general, I think we're going to be doing some factoring. Okay, especially when your leading coefficient is 1. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.